Good evening, everyone. Good morning.
Good evening. Let's see where everybody is. Bringing them on, bringing them on.
All right.
Welcome to Ready Set Live. I am Mav, and this is Doc.
Oh man.
Where is everybody?
Oh, they're filtering in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, while we're still kind of waiting for people to get in here, we'll just go over some clerical stuff. Like we've probably mentioned a couple times now, we're going to have another live stream tomorrow night. It's going to be public, and we're going to be talking. I'm going to be talking about passive income. It's going to be sort of an educational format, death by PowerPoint format. So look forward to that. But hopefully you should learn a few things about how to make some passive income while you're, um, looking for different ways to diversify your income streams, especially as it relates to cryptocurrency. So yeah, it should be hopefully some educational content for you guys. Something nice to you know chew on while we're kind of in the midst of the Bitcoin ETF denial, delay, apocalypse. It's no fun for anyone, but we'll get through this. So yeah, and let's see what else. Audio's not great. Oh
You know, the audio, this microphone and everything, we've tuned this for more of, close talking and everything like that. If we continue to do this, we may bring another mic over here at
yeah,
some point, because this is really meant for like doing this bad boy over here is really meant for doing just direct narration into here. Our t-shirts are on backwards.
yeah.
Excellent.
I think that's the video stream service that we're using because you can see up here it's the right way.
Hmm.
So maybe if I rejoin, we'll get that fixed out in the future. Sorry about that. Um, yeah. So
Well, what's going on with? Don't you have something going on this weekend? What are you doing this weekend? You're going to some
oh,
festival,
I'm,
something like
I like to go to music festivals, so I'm going to Breakaway in Columbus, Ohio. One of my favorite bands is Odessa, so they're going to be performing live there, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So if anyone's out there, just look for the really tall guy. Yeah. So and then next weekend I'm going to Coinvention in Philly, so that should be fun. I'm going to be on a panel with I think Crypto Beatles, maybe Crypto Love. Um, yeah, I don't know. I have to review that one. But yeah, let me know. I've got a link if you're interested in going. Um, I've got a link to sign up for that. So
that?
yeah,
You just gave the keynote speech at in
Crypto Coin Con. Yeah,
Crypto Coin Con.
yeah, it was fun. It was really cool to see everybody. There is a nice diversity in terms of like developers and speculative investors and just people who are involved in the space in some capacity. Probably the most boring speech I've ever seen given was by the Bitcoin private guy. He just really wanted to talk about like Byzantine fault tolerance and all the different like minutia that goes into the blockchain consensus and all of the different stuff. And you could literally see people falling asleep in the audience. It was actually kind of hilarious.
I lay awake at night dreaming about Byzantine fault tolerance.
Yeah, yeah. So no, it was good. It was good. It was a good time. I had a good time there. There was a lot of cool people. So yeah, yeah. So
Well, I am doing a metric century on Saturday.
oh yeah, that's right.
Metric century on
Doing
Saturday.
that
For
right.
those of you that don't know what that is riding a bicycle for 62 plus miles. And this one's a little different. It's going to be called the Tour de Donut. So it's a timed race. You have to go as fast as possible, but for every donut that you eat, you get time taken off of your aggregate time. So
You
uh,
get time taken off, but weight added.
I have not eaten a donut for probably at least 2 to 3 years or something like
Yeah.
that. My wife has got me on a very strict diet. So
Yeah.
okay, we are going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to keep this one relatively short
Yeah.
in terms of anything that we present, and then we will open it up for your questions, and then we'll probably be out of here. Um, we'll be out of your hair here in probably the next 15 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So this week has been kind of not too crazy on the news. I mean, yeah, there's some big events happening, but in terms of I don't know, big events happening or anything really that interesting, not really. We sort of knew, and I've been talking about this probably for a week now about the ProShares ETF decision date, which was supposed to be Thursday. That was the deadline, but they're capable of delivering their decision anytime prior to that, and so they did today. They rejected the two ProShares futures-backed ETFs that were on the table, as well as, and this is something that kind of took me by surprise, they also denied the five Direxion futures-backed ETF applications. So in total today, we saw seven Bitcoin ETF applications denied. That takes the total outstanding from 11 down to only, let me do my math here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, which obviously includes the one VanEck SolidX commodity-backed ETF, and then the three Bitwise ETFs. If I'm doing the, I don't know. Yeah, there's unfortunately it took a lot off the board today. We sort of
Is that Common Core math?
yeah. Uh, yeah, so we sort of anticipated this because ProShares and Direxion are futures-backed ETFs, Bitcoin ETFs, so they're based on Bitcoin futures contracts. And given that Bitcoin futures have only been trading for 9 months now, and given that we're still in a market that is very much capable of being manipulated, and we just don't have the market infrastructure in place to support sort of the exchange traded products that the SEC is looking for. Essentially, the if you read through the SEC what they put out today, it read it exactly like what they said for the Winklevoss ETF denial. So really, there was no surprises today. Unfortunately, there was no big revelation. There's no big takeaway here. Probably the biggest takeaway, or the thing that's going to affect the market the most, is people are going to read ETF application denied, and they're going to think that, oh no, it's the big one that got denied. And no, that's not at all what's happening here today. That is still up for discussion until September 30th. Obviously, they can, make their decision beforehand. They can deny it. They can delay it. We don't know until we know. But as we saw with the Direxion one, that wasn't supposed to be decided until September 21st. That was the final deadline for that. But they just came down with the hammer today to say, nope, we're all done. So as it relates to what's going to happen in the future, honestly, I still think we're still in that sort of limbo state where we just there's too much market manipulation for the SEC to feel comfortable um, giving the market exchange traded product that trades like a stock, which is kind of a it's kind of a paradox because I would think that as we start to introduce the market to more institutional products, and as regulatory bodies get closer and more scrutinize more the markets themselves, that would help to curb some of this free market manipulation that we're seeing. So,
I just think they want the market to grow up. Do you guys see what happened last night? So
mm,
Eastern time here
yeah,
last night, like 0100 UTC last night. What happened was Bitcoin spiked up 500 bucks. So to your point, you were bringing us up yesterday. The Bitcoin shorts, the
yes,
short interest on Bitcoin
yeah,
was like almost at a record high. And what happened was BitMEX went down for a maintenance window. And they were waiting for that because what
yeah,
happens is BitMEX is able to, there's enough liquidity in BitMEX that it can sort of stabilize the market.
yeah,
And what happened is they shut down for a maintenance window. So all of a sudden, all that went away, and it was just the spot market
yeah,
for Bitcoin. And all of a sudden, the bulls went, let's hammer them,
yeah.
and they squeezed the shorts out for a period of time. Yeah, you can see this. Go over to here and click the 1 hour.
Mm,
Yeah,
where is it? Where's it?
yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Here,
Yeah, you're
here,
taking
I'll
over.
drive. And let's go over to here. You can see this quick squeeze there. So there was a quick squeeze that happened last night, boom, and went up 500 bucks, and then pretty much came back down a
Yeah,
couple hours later after BitMEX came back in. But that wiped out a whole bunch of short interest right there.
yeah. I mean, we're still seeing really high amounts of BTC USD shorts. So the market is still kind of undecided in terms of where it's going to go. It's a power struggle right now between bulls and the bears. It's hovering in between 205 and 210. So it's going to kind of be interesting to see if there is actual volatility, or we're just going to see a sideways market continuing to go forth. So yeah, I don't know. It's not very interesting in my opinion.
Well, and that leads to, I think what's going to happen is this is going to open the door into more and more and more derivatives, because the more derivatives like this, and the bigger the markets get like this, the more of kind of
Yeah.
a balancing factor, because people can hedge against this. So hopefully you guys saw what I wrote about yesterday, which was the Digitex. Now, I don't know if Digitex is ever going to take off or not, but it's the concept is very novel. It's a huge vacuum in the space right now. So being able to trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin futures in this sort of self-contained exchange with no commissions. So all you have to do is just insert some Digitex tokens into there, which right now are going for about a penny.
Yeah.
And you know, the fourth quarter is when they intend to bring this thing out. So
Yeah.
we'll see. There could be a ramp into the fourth quarter for these tokens for that, although there's a billion of them. They printed a billion of them, so it's unlikely that we're going to have any scarcity anytime soon. But those are the kind of things that excites me for this market, is
Yeah.
the fact that it is so immature, but people are going to rush into that vacuum to fill it.
Yep. Yep. So it's we're down, but we're not out. It just we're gonna find that we're coalescing around some of the strong suits of blockchain and crypto itself, and we're gonna come back at this in a different light, and it's gonna be a whole different animal next time we see a bull movement. It's gonna be based on something completely different. Last time we saw a bull movement, it was all based on ICOs and the speculative nature of that. I think we're gonna see something different happen the next time the bull market goes up. So it's gonna be interesting to watch things, you know, sally forth. But at this moment, yeah, it's we're just kind of in this holding pattern right now. We are kind of anticipating that there's to the question about how do these decisions
Yeah,
today,
let's go into the questions here.
how do they affect the VanEck ETF in February? Well, first off, the VanEck SolidX ETF decision hasn't been delayed until February as of yet. They first need to do that 2 more times for it to be a decision in February, and that would be the final decision. That's what I'm hoping that they do. That I'm hoping that they take the time to really look at this, evaluate it, look at the potential upsides from it, all this sorts of stuff. But it could very well be the case that next month or anytime in the next month that they come out with their decision and they say, nope, we're not going to even look at this. We've denied the commodity backed ETF because we don't want to look at it. So unfortunately, that could be the case. But I think the way that you know the SIBO president has talked about it, the way that many investors and people involved in the space and many people involved close to the SEC, and just the comments even from the SEC commissioners, I think there's a lot of germane reasons why they should be pushing that back, taking the time to really look at it, taking the time to see how institutional type vehicles such as stuff like ICE's backed, the back platform is going to affect the market when it launches in November. There's a lot of reasons why they shouldn't be hasty with their decision with this. So while yes, they did make those decisions today based on sort of the state of the market today, and what they felt were that futures-backed ETFs would not help the market as is. There's just too much manipulation. The market infrastructure is not in place. I think gearing up towards February, we're going to see those problems start to be solved a little bit more. They're obviously not going to be solved overnight, but it's gonna take some time. But I think we're on the right trajectory. That no matter what, even if the ETF is denied, even if we get the denial in February, whatever, we're still on the right trajectory where we're cleaning up the market. We're doing more to see, sort of cross-platform price watching. We're doing more to kind of help root out manipulation and make it a more mature market with the way that we're just operating in general. So even without these decisions being yay or nay, we're doing all we can to move the market in a more mature sense. So more people are attracted to the space, and more people want to get involved in cryptocurrency. So, which is unfortunately why I have to answer the next question about Tether. Yeah, we've already seen over $400 million worth of Tether be printed this month alone. So that's unfortunately something I see is kind of the state of the market as is right now, is that we're still sort of reliant on these guys that almost act like a central bank, and the fact that they're printing money and they're not even showing their reserves. They're not even letting people audit them. It's kind of crazy.
Isn't that what, if you go down to your local bank today, isn't that the same deal? You
Somewhat.
know, you can't go in there and withdraw all the funds in your account. You have
Yeah,
to give them like days in advance to be
yeah,
able to do something like that. So there's never anything which is backed by actual hard currency
true,
behind it. So it's the
true.
same exact model that we're living with today.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Yeah, I think it's the reason it gets people so upset or cautious is that Tether and the way that they operate, and their sister company of Bitfinex. Bitfinex has been very shady in the past with the way that they you can't actually exchange Tether for USD. Even 2 years later, or three, I guess, after it was initiated, it's all the way that I've seen them operate. It's just been kind of shady, and I think the thing that gets people nervous about it is that Tether is so ingrained with so many different exchanges in the cryptocurrency space that if it did in fact lose all of its value because it came out that they didn't actually have $2.7 billion sitting in their reserves, then yeah, maybe people might get out of it and it would crash the price of it. I don't know. But thankfully, we're seeing other stablecoins enter the market, and we're seeing other ways for people to sort of park their capital in times of bear moves like this. So, yeah, I don't think that Tether is just going to blow up anytime soon. That was sort of the fear back in February, January timeframe, and then people kind of got over it. So, thankfully, we're probably not going to see anything like that, but it is something that I just want to, always keep people watching out for because it definitely, I don't think the problem has gone away. It just maybe has lessened as the market's starting to mature a little bit. So, yeah, that's crypto for you. We've got a lot of sort of anecdotes and interesting little stories. Uh, let's see. Yeah, can you recommend any stable coins? I like MakerDAO, their DAI coin, DAI. And then let's see, another one that was just introduced on Binance was like True USD. I haven't done enough research into stablecoins to see if any of these models are actually solvent. But it is interesting and good to see that there's more stablecoins entering the market so people have options. So they don't always have to do USD, or if they want to, we're seeing a lot of different exchanges pair major currencies, sort of reference currencies against USD. So and other native currencies as well. So it's good. It's getting better. That's pretty much the takeaway here. Let's see. Any coordination between Tether, Bitfinex, and BitMEX theories to liquidate people. Latest conspiracy theory I heard around Campfire. Um, yeah, I mean that could very well be the case. I mean, the way that the shorts are sort of stacked up right now, any sort of price volatility, even to the short term, could really take out a lot of people. So, yeah, we kind of saw that last summer with Ethereum's price and the sort of flash crash on GDAX, and just that like set us back for a month. And it was based off nothing other than just technical issues on GDAX. So yeah, this is sort of the state of the market right now, where one exchange screwing up and doing something funky or going down, like for
But
example, if Black,
why would somebody want to liquidate people? Why would you want to screw your own customers? I guess maybe I'm misunderstanding the question. Because I mean,
uh,
it's like if you a broker should want to do in the best interest for their customers because they want them trading on that platform for years
Sure.
instead of just going for a short-term gain and like wiping them out and saying, "Ha ha, I got you." I mean, it just seems so short-sighted to do something like that. I've
Yeah.
just never run into that.
Yeah. Well, I think the problem right now is there just isn't a lot of options on the table. I mean, if you want to take, if you want to do margin trading, you really don't have a lot of options as is. So I think what he's trying to, the conspiracy theory he's putting out is that they're working together to try to, liquidate people on the other's behalf, and taking up positions contrary to that. I don't know. That's it's
Well, I mean,
yeah,
like things like, I mean, I've seen for years and years and years people going after short sellers. I mean,
yeah,
that's a war because short sellers and some funds actually publish their positions, and so everybody knows about it. And so that's in the equity space, and
yeah,
then the same thing will happen over here. And that's what happened, I think, with BitMEX because it's quite clear that the U.S. shorts or the Bitcoin short interest was so high.
hmm
It was like waving a red flag. Let's take these guys out.
yeah,
I mean, trading is war, and that's why I go so much into this psychological stuff in the podcast because you have to be ready for it. And a
yeah,
lot of people will come wandering into this space with doe eyes and just think it's all roses and honey pots and stuff like that. And it's not. It is war.
yeah. It will be interesting to see over the next day or so what happens with all those shorts because I think a lot of people were anticipating that when this ETF rejection came out, that it would blow up the market, kind of like what we saw with the delay of the VanEck SolidX ETF. And we didn't really see a big, uh,
No, because it was already priced in.
yeah,
See, that's
exactly,
that's the thing that people need to understand is that everything is priced into the market right now, this
yeah,
second. Everybody expects that when a big decision goes off, oh, wait till that decision goes. That way, market's going to tank, and all of a sudden, what you'll see a lot of times is it'll rise
yeah.
because it's already been priced in. It's got nowhere to go, and so that's one of the things that I'll be banging on with people on these things.
Take a couple more questions.
Yeah, let's do a couple more here. What are you guys using to track your portfolio, your performance and analytics? We
Yeah,
do. There's one public coin live that we're using for swing trades that I'm doing
mm,
right now. I'm doing very few of them because right now my preference is to do swings within the market that's heading higher.
hmm
So we're just looking for occasional altcoins and things like that that are working on that. As far as the performance of the portfolio, anything else that we do, a lot of times I'll just use spreadsheets or Google Sheets
yeah,
to track things for my own self.
yeah. And if you want like sort of like dynamic tracking and sort of like a histogram of what you've been doing and how well you've been doing, I actually really like Delta because you can use it as both, phone app or as a desktop app. I think it's pretty slick. I think they're really active developers and they really listen to their community. So yeah, I think they've been doing a really good job with that.
Drives me nuts every time I have to reload my phone or change out a phone. I have to like re-enter all the data in from scratch. It's
Yeah,
like it's not cloud based. It just
yeah,
I'm sure they probably have a premium version, but
yeah.
I'll have to get into that. Okay, we will take one more question and then we are going to get out of here for the evening. Let's see if anybody else has anything out there. Otherwise, we will tell jokes and tell stories until you guys wave the white flag. Let's see. Well, I think that may be it for tonight.
All right.
So, okay, here's one more here. Like how you went into details on your old portfolio on certain tier coins. Could
Yeah,
you do that again with a new portfolio? Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
we'll do that. I mean, we just have we're waiting until things sort of stabilize and normalize out. We're trying to do everything we can to
yeah,
get as much edge as we can on these entries, remaining patient, waiting for the market to come to us, nibbling away just piece by piece at this, and using the bear market to our advantage. Right now, there's no real rush to get into things
yeah,
while things stabilize. So,
yeah,
in the meantime, we'll look for swings, but right now, not many swings going on right now,
yeah, yeah. It's a good
which
question
is
though.
why I can't wait for Digitex because then I can trade to the downside and
You
life will be
just
good again.
you just want your derivatives.
I want my derivatives, man.
Yeah.
I'm used to this complicated world of options and futures and derivatives, and it's once you go that way, typically you don't go back. So
Yeah.
thanks
Cool.
everybody. Have a great evening. Don't forget we're doing this tomorrow night with passive income. So
Yeah.
we're giving a webinar on passive income.
Yeah.
So make sure you sign up for that or catch us in the live stream either way.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks so much, guys. Take care. Good luck with today's market. It's crazy out there, but we'll stick through it. And yeah, don't see you. Have a great week.
Okay. Adios. See you guys. Take care.